We're back with our weekly NFL predictions here on the channel. All 16 games this week for the NFL's week number 2. And my goodness, were we hot for week number 1. I mean, a crazy run for us. Every somewhat close game on the spread we hit. And all my best bets hit for the most part, except for one. That was the Detroit Lions. Chargers money line hits. Buccaneers money line hits. Browns spread hits. Daniel Jones and the Colts money line hits. We also hit on the who was it? It's the San Francisco 49ers money line hits. Buffalo Bills money line hits. And the Minnesota Vikings money line hits as well. So every best bet that we had hit except for the Detroit Lions. I mean, my goodness, what a week we had. Let's parlay that here into a week number 2. I don't think the slate's as good in terms of, I loved a lot of spots last week, and there are still some spots I love this week too, but there were just a lot of good, 1.5 point spreads that I thought were pretty easy to decide one way or the other. Let's have a good week here in week number 2. And folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more NFL predictions here on the channel. Yesterday, we posted our full college football predictions for week number 3. That's over 3.5 hours long. Go make sure to check that out. That is linked in the description down below. Also, go make sure to check out our daily MLB best bets, and on Greedo Plays MMA this week, our UFC No J predictions, Diego Lopez and John Silva in the main event from the Frostbank Center in San Antonio, Texas. Okay, on to the first of our 16 games this week for the NFL. Kicking things off on Thursday Night Football, we've got the Washington Commanders going on the road to Green Bay, Wisconsin to take on the Green Bay Packers. Packers looked really good in week 1. They looked excellent in week number 1, right? I mean, they had the answers to the test against the Detroit Lions. Now, I'll get into the Lions in a little bit about how I did not like the play calling at all for Detroit and how I think they can be better this week. But the Packers look good, and you got to give them credit. I mean, are they a Super Bowl contender? I think you got to say yes at this point. Right? I didn't fully buy in, and I don't think I still fully buy into the fact that they are a serious threat. I think they're going to be a postseason team like they've been for the last 2 years. I still don't think they win the NFC North. I still think that's going to Detroit, but again, we will see. I think they're a good team. I think they are. I think they're a good team. Obviously, you have a loaded defense, and you add Micah Parsons to that defense in the receiving core, right? I've said this before about Green Bay. There's not one receiver that just stands out. You just got a lot of guys who can get it done, right? I mean, look, Matthew Golden barely does anything in week number 1. You got Jaden Reed. You got Romeo Doubs. You got Dontavian Wicks. You got Christian Watson, who's injured right now. And then, of course, you got Tucker Kraft, and you also have another tight end as well out of Oregon State, Luke Musgrave, who's very good too, right? I mean, it's just a very good all-around receiving core. Not one guy, though, that's just going to be, single-handedly, your number 1 receiver. You got Josh Jacobs as well at the backfield. He's got that huge touchdown streak. I would assume that's going to continue again this week because it feels like, they just try to get Jacobs touchdowns at this point if he doesn't get it until the fourth quarter. But obviously Jacobs is a really good running back. He was held fairly low yardage throughout the first 3 quarters of that game. Came on in the fourth when obviously that game was over and the Packers were just trying to run out the clock. But Green Bay's 1-0. They're taking on the Washington Commanders, the Commanders team that dominated the New York Giants. And I mean dominated with their defense. I think that offense is officially going to eventually come through. I know Jaden Daniels did not have a great statistical week number 1, even though the team dominated and Daniels made all the plays they needed him to. I mean, when I say he didn't have a great statistical week, it was just they didn't need Daniels to make many big plays in the second half because they were controlling that game. And Russell Wilson and the New York Giants are a discussion for later in the video. I don't know what they're going to do for week number 2, but the Commanders look really good. And Deebo Samuel looked really good as well, right? I had my doubts about Deebo Samuel coming into Washington after being a 49ers entire career. My goodness, he was good in week number 1. 7 catches for 77 yards, a 19-yard touchdown on the end around as well. Terry McLaurin didn't really get going, but that's expected, right? Coming out of camp or coming out of missing camp, I would expect McLaurin to be better as the weeks go on in 2025. And look at, right, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, or Bill Krosky-Merritt. What a first game, right? Was listed as number 3 on the running back depth chart. I think he's higher than both Eckler and Jeremy McNichols. Krosky-Merritt with 10 carries for 82 yards. And of course, right, Commanders win the game 21-6. It's their defense that stood out to me, though. I mean, they have multiple huge stops in that game, and the one that we need to talk about is the fourth quarter goal line stand that Washington puts on New York. Now, why are the Giants throwing to a offensive tackle on 1st and goal from the 1-yard line in the fourth quarter in an 8-point game? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Actually, I think it was 15 at that point, but still, that's neither here or there. That's just what the New York Football Giants do, I guess. But the Commanders' defense played really well. It's a good defense, man. It's a loaded defense. I know there's a lot of unks on the defense, right, with like Marshawn Lattimore and Bobby Wagner, but they get it done, man. The entire defense will get it done, and I think they're going to make this Packers offense a little bit normal this week. I just think that last week between the Lions and Packers, was just one of those games, where the Packers look really good and the Lions don't. I mean, it happens. It's a 17-game season for a reason. It's a long season for a reason. I believe Detroit's going to get them the second time around at Ford Field. It's the first time the Lions have lost on the road since 2023. It's been a while. I think the Commanders really buckled down on this Packers offense, right? I mean, every third down, there was a conversion for Green Bay on Sunday. I believe that the Commanders are going to come through defensively today, right? Josh Jacobs did not have his best statistical game. He only ran for 66 yards, right? I think the Commanders got this one. I'm going to go Washington Commanders plus 3.5. Money line, ever so slightly, I'll go plus 160. I would not play the money line. I would play the plus 3.5, though, for Washington. Just gives us the insurance if we need it, if the Packers win by field goal, right? Because I do expect this to be a very close game. I just think Washington's able to win in the trenches a little bit. And I'm going to take the Washington Commanders to win on the road in Green Bay against the Packers. Okay, on now to our second best bet of the video. We move to a matchup on Sunday now, as we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars going on the road to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to be going with the Bengals to win this one. I'm taking them to cover 3.5 as well. I'll say it now. I think there's a lot of favorites that are going to win this week. And I know I just picked an underdog on Thursday night. I looked through the Sunday slate. I'm hard-pressed to find many dogs here. Just because I like the spots for the favorites, especially this one. The Bengals are going to be much better at home. They are. I think the Jaguars are a decent team in 2025. I don't think they're at the level of Cincinnati, at least. Hear me out. I don't think they're on the level of stopping Cincinnati defensively. The Bengals finally get out to a good start to a season. I mean, the last 4 seasons they have lost on opening weekend. Should they have lost last week to the Cleveland Browns? Oh, yeah, 100%. The Browns should have won that football game. It is what it is, right? The Browns tried everything in their power to lose that game against Cincinnati, but the Bengals are 3.5-point favorites this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe they're going to cover. Now, the Jags look good in week 1. They did, right? The weird rain delay, lightning delay game. They still win at 26-10 against the Carolina Panthers. I mean, they really limited Bryce Young. I'll get to Bryce Young in a little bit. Bryce Young, guys, looked like the worst quarterback in the NFL. That game, he just did. I don't know. We'll get to more in him in a little bit. I, had hopes for Bryce Young after a resurgence year in 2024, resurgent 2024. He looked really bad in week number 1. He looked really bad. And the Jaguars defense, I think, can be underrated. We'll see. And the offense, they'll look good. It did, right? I think they're only going to go as far as Trevor Lawrence can take them. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is the franchise guy, right? They've already made that clear. I mean, Shad Khan loved the effort out of his team, comes into the locker room after the game and says, "Let this go on forever." Yes, I was trying to mimic the voice crack. It was hilarious. Lawrence throws a pretty bad interception early in that game. Jacksonville wins at 26-10, right? It's not a competition, right? They have that game won. Travis Etienne on the ground, 16 carries, 143 yards. Now, a lot of that comes from his 71-yard big run in, I believe, the second quarter it was. And Jacksonville decides, all right, we're going to trade Tank Bigsby. Going to trade him to Philadelphia for a couple picks. That move makes a lot of sense. I know Bigsby got a lot of run last year at running back for the Jags. They have Bashal Tutin on their team. Tutin from VTech last season was really effective for the Hokies in the ACC. He only got 3 carries for 11 yards in week number 1. He kind of fulfills everything they need him to do. Everything they needed out of Tank Bigsby, they just get out of Bashal Tutin. So if you can get trade value elsewhere for Bigsby, it clears up a spot for Tutin to actually get run. So I understand that. Lawrence, again, we said this about Trevor Lawrence. He's got all the weapons needed at this point. You have Travis Hunter. You have Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas only had 1 catch for 11 yards. You have a plethora of options in your offense now. You have a lot of guys to go to. For the Bengals, offense didn't look great in week 1. They did not. I mean, the Browns got to Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase had two catches. Running game didn't look all that great. I mean, you look at the box score. If you just simply look at the box score, you're like, how did the Bengals win this football game? Because it does amaze me, right? They did not play well enough to win that football game. The Browns gave it away. Browns gave it away with a missed extra point. They gave it away with a missed field goal. They gave it away with the 2 interceptions that bounced off the hands of Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, right? If Flacco played a good game, his team did not play well enough to win as well, right? I think the Bengals offense will be better. I'm still a big believer in the fact that the Bengals offense is one of the best in football. But at the same time, I think the Jags are going to be able to score too. I just believe the Bengals are going to score a little bit more, right? The Jags, if they can't score against this defense, I know who had 2 interceptions, but that's fake. That's not a real stat, okay? Those should have been 2 catches, and arguably the Browns should have won week 1. And we're talking about a whole different narrative right now for Cincinnati if they had lost week 1 as 5.5-point favorites on the road at Huntington Bank Field. I think the Jags offense should be able to score, and that's, again, all dependent on Trevor Lawrence, who I still believe in. It's just we need to see it, dude. The interception numbers need to go down. You have talented receivers. You have a good running back, I guess, in Travis Etienne, who had a rough 2024. I mean, the Jags should stay competitive in this game. Ultimately, I believe the Cincinnati Bengals will get to pull away in this one. I'm going to be taking the Cincinnati Bengals to win and cover at home as minus 3.5 point favorites. We move on now to our next game in our third of the week. We go to a matchup now here in Arlington, Texas, as we have the Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Football Giants. My goodness, are the Giants horrible at football. I mean, what do you do in an offseason? Seriously, what do you do throughout the entire offseason? I know the Cowboys lost in week 1. I feel much better about the Dallas Cowboys in week number 2 than I do the New York Football Giants. Now, this is nothing against Russell Wilson. Not at all. I think they need to move on. It's been 1 week, so you can't yet. And honestly, I think I know what they're going to do in New York. They're going to let Russ play the first 4 weeks. I think. Because they're going to start Jackson Dart week 5 in New Orleans. Because that is the number 1 launching point a team can have. I'm looking at this Giants schedule right now. Holy crap, it's difficult. Dallas, Kansas City, Chargers, Saints, Thursday night short week against the Eagles. Then you go to Denver, to Philly, Niners, Bears, Packers, Lions, Patriots, Commanders, Vikings, Raiders, Cowboys. What did they do to deserve this schedule? My goodness. I mean, the 4th place teams they get to play from last year are, Chicago and I guess Vegas from the AFC. No, it would not be Vegas from the AFC. It's Chicago, New Orleans, and the Patriots are the one AFC team they got to play. Wow. That's a brutal schedule. So I don't know when there's a good time to launch Jackson Dart into the lineup. It would have to be, I think, week number 5, maybe week 4 at home against the Chargers. I don't know. I mean, they got Sunday Night Football. Why are they playing on Sunday night against the Chiefs next week? Maybe they do it then. Remember last year when they did an early Sunday night game with, it's 2 years ago now when they did that early Sunday night game between the Jets and the Chiefs in New York. I guess that's what they're doing here with the Giants and the Chiefs. Why? Maybe Jackson Dart has his breakout game like Zach Wilson did way back then. Anyways, where by the way, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes and the referees screwed the Jets, but it's okay. The Giants look horrible. You know, they can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball. And, maybe that's just the Commanders' defense is really good, which I believe. But now you got to play the Cowboys, who I think are good enough defensively. I know you lose Micah Parsons and whatnot, but still, I mean, this is a still good enough defense with a good enough secondary to at least beat up on the New York Football Giants. Guys, Tyron Tracy, who's the lead back for the New York Giants, ran the ball 10 times for 24 yards. I mean, yikes, right? I mean, what else can I say about that? That's just not going to cut it. Russell Wilson, 44 rushing yards, 168 through the air. Malik Neighbors, 71 yards on 5 catches. I mean, that's legitimately their entire offense, though. Right? I mean, Neighbors is everything for that team. Cowboys lose in week 1, obviously, on Thursday Night Football to the Eagles, a game that they stayed in. And if CeeDee Lamb can make a couple grabs, maybe they do win, right? Or maybe at least they give Brandon Aubrey some chances, right? CeeDee Lamb dropped 4 balls in that game. That's not great. He still had 110 yards, don't get me wrong. Still had a very productive day. Could have had a great day, though. I thought Prescott played well. I mean, I think this is the thing with Prescott, too. Every even year, he's going to play really good football. Every odd year, Dak Prescott plays really well, oddly enough. I don't know. I have a lot more confidence in the Cowboys than I do the Giants. I think the Giants, here's the thing with them, guys. I don't think their season really gets going until they play Jackson Dart. Not even like I think Jackson Dart's like the second coming of Dan Marino, even though I think he is good. I think Jackson Dart's going to be fairly good. It's just you can't get your team going. You can't get your team to buy in officially until you get your rookie quarterback to start, unless Russell Wilson plays really well, which I'm not anticipating him to do here. Right. So maybe they start in week 3 on Sunday Night Football. It's probably the plan, actually, now that I think about it. Against the Chiefs. Not a bad defense in Kansas City at that. But there's a chance the Chiefs are rolling into that game 0-2. We'll get to that in a second. I think the Cowboys win the football game. I think, right, you look at the game Javonte Williams played in week 1. That's solid, right? I didn't think Javonte Williams had that in him in 2025. I really questioned the Cowboys running back room with Williams and with Jaden Blue. But I guess it is Williams for now. I think he's really got a stranglehold over that job. And obviously, you add George Pickens to the offense. He's only going to continue to develop as a receiver, at least in the Cowboys system, in the Cowboys roster, in their scheme. I think they will beat up on the Giants here. I really wonder how the Giants are going to be able to score today. They are just a bad offense, and they're just a bad football team. So Cowboys minus 5.5. I think they win this game by at least a touchdown. I don't think it's all that competitive. The Giants are just not good at football right now. They could be the worst team in the NFL, but that is reserved for the New Orleans Saints, so we'll get to them later. Give me the Dallas Cowboys to win the football game and cover the 5.5 points in the meanwhile. Next up, we go to Ford Field, to Detroit, Michigan for the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. This line's been bumped a little bit since I made the graphics. It's 5.5 now for the Detroit Lions. That does not change my mind. The Lions will probably blow out the Chicago Bears. Okay? They're going to blow them out. I have a lot to say about Chicago because, like I said last week, the Bears and the Falcons are the two teams that are the oops, fell for it again squads, right? That you think that, right, they are... you think that they're big time and they come back and every offseason, oh, here comes Caleb Williams, here comes Kyle Pitts, and they're just horrible, right? In terms of the teams. No, I mean, like, those teams get hyped up in the offseason and nothing happens in the regular season. You look at now these two squads, Bears and Lions. I get both of them last week, number one. Lions looked horrible in Green Bay, and I don't know what the hell was going on with the play calling for John Morton and the Lions. What are we doing calling, 3rd and 13 screens to Jahmyr Gibbs? We're running the ball on 3rd and 11 and just giving up. Do you remember who your quarterback is? Do you know your quarterback has been top 5 in passing in the NFL last 4 seasons? What? I don't understand. Their O-line looked like crap. They needed to throw the ball a lot more, I'm going to be honest. And yeah, they threw it 39 times. They should have thrown the ball 50-something times. I think we underestimate what Jared Goff is as a talent at quarterback. This is horrible, though. That was a horrible week number 1 performance. I think they're going to be okay, but my goodness, the play calling was absolutely dog shit. And it does say, okay, yeah, we miss Ben Johnson. I don't think their defense played all that poorly. I don't think so. I think Jordan Love had a really good game early. Defense gave the Lions some chances, right? They gave him some shots in the second and the third quarter to get back in that football game. Ultimately, Lions only lose by 14 points. Now, it was a garbage time touchdown to the first career catch of Isaac Tesla, the one-handed grab, which is crazy. Shout out to him. He is the number 3 receiver apparently here in Detroit and will be going forward, so that's big time for Tesla. But they need to open up the offense more. You need to. I mean, I'm sure the run game will establish itself against Chicago, especially the way that the Bears play defensively against the Minnesota Vikings, right? Jordan Mason had a big game on the ground against Chicago. But another thing that I want to bring up here, I think the Lions are going to win. I think they're going to cover easily because I don't think the Bears are going to be able to score. Guys, the Bears couldn't score in the second half. Oh, the garbage time. Well, not garbage time, but the last drive of the fourth quarter, they scored a touchdown. I don't care. Okay? When it matters, the Bears can't score the football. Okay? Guys, the Bears score 7 points on their opening drive. They kick a field goal next time out to go up 10-0. All right? And your offense doesn't score for the rest of the game. It was 10-3 when they kicked the field goal. But anyways, their offense doesn't score the rest of the game, except for that late fourth quarter drive. Because the pick 6 put them up 17-6, right? They're popping the champagne at Soldier Field. They've won the Super Bowl now. And then what happens? J.J. McCarthy puts the ball, or works the ball down the field, 3 straight drives, 3 straight touchdowns. Vikings win the football game. I'm telling you, J.J. McCarthy's the real deal. I tried to say that last week. I know, he threw the bad interception for a touchdown. Now, that sucked. McCarthy's legit. He is so legit. And I don't think people are going to recognize, again, this guy doesn't lose. Since losing the Fiesta Bowl in college to Texas Christian, he hasn't lost a football game. A guy just wins. Everything that we used to joke about Jimmy Garoppolo, oh, he's just a born winner. He just wins football games. No, that's legitimately what J.J. McCarthy is, but he actually has really great talent. Not to say Garoppolo wasn't talented in those years with the Niners when they went to the Super Bowl, but this dude, McCarthy, is a legit talent. He does. I mean, he reminds me of a Zach Wilson, and I'm still a Zach Wilson believer, okay? I think if he gets the opportunity, I'm telling you, I think he can be really successful in Miami, and we'll get to Miami later. McCarthy reminds me of a Zach Wilson who doesn't have the same arm strength, but can just get it done and literally throws the ball 100 miles, doesn't actually throw the ball 100 miles an hour, but rips it every single time he throws it. I mean, the velocity in which J.J. McCarthy throws is insane. It's crazy. I think McCarthy's a very good quarterback in this league, right? I know I'm not talking about the Vikings right now. I shouldn't be. But what I'm getting to with all this is that the Bears got dominated in that second half. They couldn't score. McCarthy and the Vikings worked the ball up and down the field the entire half. Caleb Williams, he had a great first half. He starts the game 10 for 10. Finishes 21 for 35. Offensive line then plays like shit after that first drive. Caleb Williams doesn't have a horrible game, but my goodness, that ball that I think it was DJ Moore that was wide open in the fourth quarter, he just misses. DJ Moore should have been in the end zone. There's too many things wrong with the Chicago Bears. Their defense is not good enough, okay? It was a Mickey Mouse first half, all right? Their offense is not good enough. They are by far the worst team in the division, and the Detroit Lions are going to expose them fully. Guys, the Bears are walking into Ford Field to get embarrassed this week. They're going to get blown out. The Lions, again, need to get their get back after last week, and this is where Detroit starts stacking up some W's against, again, the hardest schedule in the National Football League this season. I expect Jared Goff to be fine. They should decimate the Chicago Bears. This game will not be a competition. They are going to run them out the building after the first half. Guys, we talked about last year the Chicago Bears, their season ended, and they were broken after they lost the Hail Mary game, Jaden Daniels to Noah Brown last season in Landover, Maryland. I'm telling you right now, week number 1, J.J. McCarthy running that in for a touchdown in the fourth quarter, that's going to break the Chicago Bears. They're up 17-6. Troy Aikman said it himself. I hadn't heard Soldier Field this loud in a very long time. I'm telling you, week 1 broke the Bears already, and the Detroit Lions are going to put it on them here in week number 2, and the Bears are looking at another 4 or 5 win season in 2025. I'm telling you, I cannot get behind that team. Next up, let's go to Nashville, Tennessee for the Tennessee Titans and the Los Angeles Rams from Nissan Stadium. Yeah, the Titans look bad in week 1. I get it. Oh, really good defense. You're playing the Broncos. Yeah, 100%. They're just bad, man. You can't get Cam Ward any help, right? You're play calling like you don't have a good quarterback. I don't understand the play call sometimes. I mean, you run Tony Pollard into the ground, 18 carries for 60 yards, all right? Cam Ward goes 12 for 28 on a couple drops, right? I mean, even hell, Calvin Ridley's dropping footballs. That's supposed to be your number 1 guy. I mean, don't forget when Cam Ward in the offseason said he had the best receiving core in the NFL. I know, again, he has to say that. But, yeah, Ridley 4 catches for 27 yards. You know it's a problem when Tony Pollard, your leading catcher, your leading receiver, with 1 catch for 29 yards. Yeah, that's bad. They couldn't move the ball at all this game. Their defense made plays because Bo Nix played horribly, and I can get to that later. But they didn't score a touchdown. They kicked 4 field goals. Joey Sly was the team MVP. They had the lead in the third quarter. They go up 12-10 in the third. Obviously, Denver comes back and wins the football game like they should. But guys, the Titans get outgained in this game 317 yards to 133. They only had 7 first downs in the entire football game. And they out-penalized the Broncos 131 yards to 45. Obviously, there's trouble with the Titans because, I mean, there's a reason they have the number 1 pick. Cameron Ward is not going to fix all of their problems, even though I think he's a very talented quarterback. I mean, their defense looked all right, don't get me wrong. They are so horrible offensively. I mean, it's where receivers go to die. Tennessee. Not because of the quarterbacks entirely, it's just because this is what happens here. All the washed guys go here. I don't want to say Ridley's entirely washed yet, but Ridley, Tyler Lockett. I mean, we saw the offseason and preseason hype of Van Jefferson. Where was Van Jefferson week number 1? Didn't have a catch. Elik Eomanor, the rookie out of Stanford, I guess, is the 3rd receiver for this football team. That's fun, but he has a serious drop problem. If you get the ball in his hands, I mean, go back and watch Colorado versus Stanford in 22, right? In 23. If you get the ball in Eomanor's hands, he's great. A lot of drops come out the guy. They do. I look at the Los Angeles Rams, right? Weird week 1. They win against the Texans. They had a weird, Puka Nacua was injured. He, had I think it was the bloody nose and whatnot. I thought he had a concussion at one point. Comes back. I mean, that's just what Puka does, right? Maybe the best receiver in football, legitimately. 10 catches, 130 yards. And obviously you have Devontae Adams beside him, right? I mean, this is a good offense. I think a lot of the narrative coming out of week 1 is, Stafford didn't look very good. Guys, Stafford played well enough. They couldn't run the ball that effectively. But I thought Stafford played a decent game. 21 completions on 29 attempts. That's not horrible, right? Puka Nacua played a pretty good game. Devontae Adams was all right in his first game as a Ram. Just a low-scoring affair. They couldn't punch it in over mid, or they couldn't really get the offense going past midfield, and that's okay. The games like that are going to happen. I think the Texans are all right. I think the Texans' offense is god-awful, and I'll get to that later. I think the Rams are going to be perfectly fine, though. I still think they're the best team in the NFC West, especially look at the Niners, guys. The Niners already have injury problems, and we'll get to them in a little bit, but that's a problem for San Francisco. As long as Stafford continues to play, decently well, the Rams are going to be perfectly fine. They're going to walk into Tennessee, and this offense is going to fully open up. All right, expect Puka to get in the end zone. Expect Kyron Williams to get back in the end zone. The 1 touchdown pass that Stafford threw in week number 1 was to Davis Allen. Just expect the offense to overall open up. I know Tennessee's defense played really well in week number 1, which is great. I'm now getting concerned about this Denver offense. We know the defense is really good. the Denver offense might not be where we thought it was going to be in 2025, and I don't know if Bo Nix is going to make that next step like I thought he was going to make in 2025. And we'll get to that later. But I believe the Los Angeles Rams are going to beat the Tennessee Titans in week number 1. They will go into to Nashville, Tennessee, and they should put belt to ass here. I think Cam Ward, there's only so much you can do with the squad. They're just lacking talent. Give me the Los Angeles Rams to go on the road and cover -5.5 for the Rams on the road. Next up, we go to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida, as we've got the Miami Dolphins hosting the New England Patriots. I'm going to take the Dolphins here. I know this might this might be a surprise. I still believe that they can beat the Patriots at home. Guys, the Patriots never play well in Miami. Historically, like even with Tom Brady, they've not played well over at Hard Rock. I mean, Jake Cutler once on Monday Night Football beat Tom Brady in Miami. It's just what happens, right? The Dolphins do not lose at home to the New England Patriots. I don't know when the last time they did. I think it was the Cam year that the Patriots walked into Miami and beat them? I think it was, right? No, I don't think I think it was the Cam Newton. No, guys, the Patriots haven't walked into Miami and won since 2019, the game where the one Antonio Brown game in Miami. So the Patriots have not beaten the Dolphins since Brady was there in Miami. Yeah, okay, we're fine here. I mean, we're perfectly fine. The Dolphins are going to win this football game. I know a lot's being made of how bad Tua looked in week number 1. Oh, yeah, he was horrible. I think this is a buy low spot, though, entirely for the Dolphins. Everyone's so down on this team. For good reason, I'll say that. They'll figure it out. I think so. And if they don't, well, Tua's going to be benched. I think not getting Tyreek Hill the football, and Hill has not had a completion or has not had a catch in the air over, I believe, 18 yards, I think, since last year, week 1, which is crazy. They're going to make it an emphasis out of practice this week to get the ball to Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane, who did not have a horrible game, but the problem for the Dolphins was, well, we can't really run the ball because we're losing by so many points. Zach Wilson came in at the very end of the game, played all right. 5 of 8, 32 passing yards. All right, hey, there's that. I think Zach Wilson, if we need to see Zach Wilson this week, I think we're set. I do think the Colts as well are just a really good football team. I do believe that, and I'll get to Indianapolis later in the video, obviously, when they host the Denver Broncos in the Peyton Manning Bowl. But I do believe they're going to open up I think that the offense for Miami is going to be much improved this week. I didn't love the Patriots week 1 effort. It was 20-13 against the Raiders. You can't score, you can't win. Drake May played a decent game, but they can't run the football. A lot was made in the offseason or in the preseason in camp of how good TreVeyon Henderson is, and I do believe TreVeyon Henderson is still one hell of a talent. If your offensive line can't block for the guy, I mean, what are we doing here? Right? I thought the receiving core is all right for the Patriots. I thought they played all right in week number 1. Keyshawn Boutte, Hunter Henry, Stephon Diggs, and Pop Williams caught a touchdown pass too. Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas. They couldn't get stops defensively though. I mean, Geno Smith at 362 yards passing. I think I need to give Geno his flowers, and we'll talk about the Raiders in just a little bit. But actually, at the end of the video. But they played well. The Patriots' run D looked really good in all fairness. It's just that's a Consassion Genti who is going to run the ball up the middle for the most part, and that's what the Raiders are going to try to do. It's a whole different game with Achane. You're going to get Achane on the outside. You're going to get Achane in the pass game. It's a different stylistic game for the Patriots, and if you can't score, I don't know how you're going to win, right? I get it, the Dolphins scored less points. I think the Colts defense is actually really good. And yet, Tua just played horribly, threw 2 interceptions and threw 2 bad interceptions. He'll be much better this week. Again, the Patriots never walk into Miami and win. I doubt this year is going to be any different. I think Drake May is a good product. I don't know. I'm not as sold as I think a lot of people are. A lot of Patriots fans are about Drake May. Tyreek Hill only had 4 catches for 40 yards. Jalen Waddle only had 4 catches for 30 yards. Again, I think the Dolphins are going to be okay. I think they'd be much better with Zach Wilson, but I think Zach Wilson, I can't believe I'm going to say this, I think Zach Wilson avoids a lot of the sacks that Tua takes, and I think also at the same time, by the way, Zach Wilson's a much more mature quarterback than he entered the league as. I think Zach Wilson throws less interceptions as Tua Tagovailoa does. But that's neither here or there. Dolphins are at home. They're a better home team. Home crowd should be going, and I just don't think the line should be this close, especially after how the Patriots played in week number 1. They only scored 13 points, and they're only a plus 110 dog, I think it is, plus 115 dog in Miami. This is an easy Dolphins money line for me. I mean, I wouldn't even play the 1.5. There's no reason to. Just take the minus 135 on the money line in week number 1 for the Miami Dolphins. I would expect domination over the New England Patriots in week number 1 or week number 2. I'm not sold on the Patriots at all, and I think the Dolphins should be able to run away with this one, just like they have done in Miami for the last 5 seasons. Give me Dolphins money line at home at the Hard Rock, minus 135 over the New England Patriots. Let's move on to our next game in New Orleans. In the Superdome, we've got the New Orleans Saints hosting the San Francisco 49ers. The Saints are the worst team in the NFL. Yeah, they are. The Niners should have no problems even with Mac Jones starting this week. Mac Jones is going to do enough, I believe, for the 49ers to win this football game. I don't expect Purdy to play. Purdy's on the injury report. They're saying he could be out for a week. If there's any doubt if Purdy's going to play, he's not going to. It's an 18-week season. The Niners do not want to happen to them this year. Do not want last year to happen to them. They are not going to play Brock Purdy, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to. You have no reason to play Brock Purdy this week. Mac Jones can get it done in New Orleans against the worst team in football. It's bigger than that, though, honestly, to me. You're already injured in week number 1? I mean, what goes on in Santa Clara, California? Why are you all already injured? Purdy's hurt, George Kittle out at least 4 weeks, and you struggle that much to beat those Seattle Seahawks who couldn't really move the ball at all? I mean, their offense looked horrible to the Niners. Brock Purdy throws 2 horrible interceptions, and he gets bailed out at the end of the game with the Jake Tunges touchdown, the Cal tight end. Guys, that's a bad ball by Brock Purdy. Their tight end bails him out, and good for him. Great play. My goodness, though, was I not impressed by the 49ers. Ricky Pearsall is the truth. I will say that. I think Ricky Pearsall is very good. He had 4 catches for 108 yards. McCaffrey was very good as well, like, Christian McCaffrey is. But my goodness, that was not an impressive game for the 49ers. They will beat up on the Saints, and that's not, this is not a big game for the Niners. Obviously, every game's a big game. We will know how good the 49ers are next week. I'm serious, when they host the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are the best either, but we're going to see if the Niners are on that Super Bowl kind of tier this year, or they're just another team in the NFC West that may get into the postseason, and if they do, they're not going to go get very far, right? I think next week's the test for them. Cardinals beat up on the Saints. We'll talk about the Cardinals in a little bit. But the New Orleans Saints, they give the ball to Spencer Rattler. They let Spencer Rattler throw the ball 46 times. He completes 27 of them. It's hard when your best receiver is arguably Juwan Johnson, your tight end. Chris Olave, I mean, bless his soul, he keeps getting injured. And why are you putting Chris Olave in routes where he's immediately going to get blown up? Why are you putting him on short swing routes where, I don't get it. And you have an injury-prone receiving core, I'm sorry. You've got Olave, who is always injured. He got injured last year, I think it was a hamstring injury. And Brandon Cooks is always injured for the most part. At least, I hate to say this, concussions-wise, Brandon Cooks is always hurt. I do believe Brandon Cooks is going to have a huge year for them after taking a huge step back last year with the Dallas Cowboys, because they're going to need Brandon Cooks, especially with Olave consistently hurt. Okay, they're getting blown out this week by the 49ers. Yes, Mac Jones, he's not Brock Purdy, even though I don't think Purdy played a good week 1 at all. Mac Jones will be a facilitator this week. He will be nothing but a game manager this week against the Saints, and he will do enough to push the 49ers to victory, because they don't need a really good game out their quarterback this week. They just need the run game to get going, which it should against New Orleans. I mean, Trey Benson ran the ball 8 times for 70 yards week number 1 against the New Orleans Saints, and they just need Mac Jones to make the throws at the appropriate times to wide open receivers likely. So he'll be fine. All right. Niners defense looked really good. It's always it's a really good core. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, right? I mean, you got, Winters, Lenore. It's a good defense. It is. And they'll be fine. The Saints probably won't be able to score much. Niners, I would expect to dominate. Even with Mac Jones at quarterback and without George Kittle, does that suck? 100%. It sucks. And again, I question what the 49ers are going to be for the rest of 2025. How are you already injured? It's been 1 game. I don't know. And I didn't love the fact they were so competitive with the Seahawks. However, they play one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in football in the New Orleans Saints. And they will be fine. They will blow them out. So I'm going 49ers to win, and they will cover the 4.5 points as well. I'm telling you, there's a lot of good favorites this week. But I'm going to be going in this game with the New York Football Jets to cover 7 points against the Bills. It's 7. That's a lot. The Bills are going to win. And I don't have a doubt in my mind that they won't win this game. I do have doubts that they cover. The New York Jets always play the Bills tight. It's a division game, and it's just these historical matchups, or at least, these matchups we see every single season. Last year, right, or we talked about the last 5 years with Dolphins Patriots. Look at Jets Bills at MetLife Stadium. They are always close games. Last year, Bills win by 3. 2023, Jets win in overtime. That's the Rodgers injury game. Zach Wilson comes in. They win the game with the punt return for a touchdown, right? every single year when these two teams played. 2022, with Zach Wilson starting, they beat the Bills. Now, don't forget, the Jets were a playoff team with Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback in 2022. They decided to bench him for Mike White, and the season went downhill, and they didn't win a game for the rest of the year. That's neither here or there, though. That year was ridiculous. I'll never forget the 2022 New York Jets. My goodness. But they have played the Bills competitively in New York every year since 2021. And don't get me wrong, is Josh Allen the best player in the NFL? Undoubtedly, yes. He's the best player in the NFL. That comeback the Bills orchestrate on Sunday Night Football is insane. Josh Allen has 200 yards in just the fourth quarter, 400 in the entire game. I mean, I have not checked the MVP odds. One can assume Josh Allen is well on his way to win his second consecutive Most Valuable Player award. I get it. We're just after week 1. But that's the type of impact that guy has. Yeah, he's plus 300 to win the MVP. Lamar Jackson at plus 400 and Jaden Daniels at plus 1,000. How is Mahomes 4th? And Justin Herbert 7th? Are we serious here? Daniel Jones right now plus 12,500. Just saying. You know, it's not bad odds. Put 100 on that, you win $12,000. I think the Jets play this game close. Guys, I don't know if I want to completely buy in on the Jets because of how well they played last week. Guys, Breece Hall looked really good. Breece Hall looked really good. Braylon Allen is the number 2 back. That looks pretty solid for the New York Jets. Justin Fields put a great game in week number 1. A phenomenal game in week number 1. I think the Jets are able to play a competitive game against the Bills. I worry about the Bills' defense a lot. I was somewhat high on them going into the year, and then I watch week number 1. I'm like, okay. I know Lamar Jackson is maybe the best talent in the NFL other than Josh Allen. Derrick Henry, obviously, one of the toughest running backs in the league, and the Bills come through with that huge fumble, or the strip, really, of Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter to eventually win the football game. I get a lot goes their way, and the defense does clutch up when it matters. Those first 3 quarters, though, I mean, they could not get off the field to save their lives. I did not know how the Bills were going to win that game because they needed so many stops. They did, so I got to give the defense credit there. I do believe early in the game, though, the Jets are going to be able to score. I think so. I just think it's going to be a tight game. I just think the Bills, I think they're going to be leading the entire game. I don't think it's ever going to be really a doubt or there's going to be a question on whether or not the Bills are going to win the football game because I do expect them to get it, right? I think the Bills are going to win this one. I think they're going to be in control for most of the game. I just think the Jets are going to hang around. And if they hang around, they can make the game close. Again, just look at what's happened in the last 3 years these teams have played. It doesn't matter who's starting at quarterback for the Jets, whether it be Zach Wilson, whether it be Aaron Rodgers. The games are close between the Bills and the Jets. So I believe the Jets are going to play this one tight. I think they're going to lose, and I think the Jets are probably going to start the year 1-5 probably, just because they play some tough teams. But they're going to remain competitive against a lot of these teams. And their second half of the schedule is really easy coming out the bye week. Now, they're probably going to be out of it by then. But I do think the Jets are going to be a decent team this season. I wasn't high on them going into week 1, but I am higher on them now. As for the Bills, I mean, if this team doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, there's something wrong. They need to add some pieces to their defense. Some, because it's going to be a damn shame if Josh Allen does not win the Most Valuable Player this year alongside the Lombardi Trophy. This is his year. I've thought it from the beginning of the season. It's his year. They need to win the AFC. Super Bowl's a whole other thing. But, yeah, you need to find a way to get this guy the Super Bowl this year. Get to the Super Bowl this year. I'm taking the Bills to win against the New York Jets, but I do believe the New York Jets cover the 7 points. It's just too much for me in a rivalry game and a divisional matchup where the Jets always play the Buffalo Bills tight. We move on now to our next game. We go to a rematch of the Super Bowl in 2005 as we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going Pittsburgh Steelers minus 2.5, and this is so easy. So extremely easy. Might be minus 140. Not a great line, but actually I just put the money line here. I'd be surprised if this doesn't close at like minus 155. Why is this game so tight? Are we expecting a close game in Pittsburgh? Let me see if these odds have been updated since I made the graphic. Minus 145 now for Pittsburgh. That's more like it, but still, I'd probably take minus 145. The Steelers are not losing the Seattle Seahawks. I don't get this at all. This doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, why is it this tight? Seattle doesn't move the ball in week number 1. Yeah, and the Niners defense is good. Are we not expecting the Steelers defense to bounce back? Just talked about Justin Fields, went out them, sure. They're not going to play that poorly in back-to-back weeks. The Steelers defense has never been the Steelers as a whole over the last 5 years have never been, since Roethlisberger left. Oh, their offense is really good, but their defense, it's a shootout every time that they play. I mean, we haven't seen that out of the Steelers since that year they lost to the Jaguars in the playoffs. What was that, 18? Is that 17? Oh my goodness, that was 17, wasn't it? That was 17. Yeah, that was 17 season, wasn't it? The Steelers haven't been like that in a while, since, Roethlisberger's throwing 500 yards a game, and AB and whatnot, the killer bees, right? That hasn't been the case with Pittsburgh in a while. They've been a defensively dependent football team, and that's how they've won football games, and that's fine. Week 1 was the opposite, right? Rodgers is a huge day, 4 touchdowns, sure, the defense got them a huge stop to get them the football back, and give them the lead and whatnot, but the offense had to score 34 points, and the offense had to score 17 points in the fourth quarter for the Steelers to win, and it was won by a Chris Boswell 60-yard field goal. What? I mean, he's been around for a while. Dude's a demon. Good for him. I don't want to fully buy into Aaron Rodgers as a Pittsburgh Steeler, but I'm going to kind of buy in right now. I guess Unk still got it. He did the Unk celebration too. That was hilarious. But Unk still has it, dude. He does. 22 for 30 passing, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns. Run game didn't look great, but that's fine. You got DK Metcalf on the team now. Aaron Rodgers is making Calvin Austin look like a really good receiver in the NFL. Pat Freiermuth is involved as well. Ben Skoranek catches a touchdown pass. I mean, what? I think Rodgers is back, guys. I think Rodgers might be back. The Seahawks, what are the Seahawks good at? I personally think the Niners just play bad defensively. And I think Rodgers is going to expose this defense. I'm not telling you the Steelers are going to be the best team in 2025. I'm not telling you Aaron Rodgers is going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not telling you he's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. I think he's better than he was last year, though, because he's motivated. He's in Pittsburgh now. They do nothing but win, and he's got a really good defense behind him. Even better defense than he did in New York. And you have DK Metcalf now. And you play in a really good system. You play in a system where the play action game, where Rodgers has always been lethal at, only develops more. Seahawks, I think they're horrible offensively. It's not Darnold's fault. I just don't think the line's very good. I don't think they can run the ball that well. Darnold goes 16 for 23 passing for 150 yards. Obviously, the Seahawks had a chance at the end of that football game. They do. And Nick Bosa comes in with a strip sack, ends the game after Seattle gets a big play downfield to Jackson Smith and Jigba. But other than JSN, guys, their entire receiving core has 26 yards. Cooper Kupp had 2 catches for 15 yards. Elijah Arroyo, the rookie out of Miami, had 1 catch for 7 yards. Ken Walker then had 3 catches for 4 yards. Eventually, JSN's going to get taken away, Eventually, a team's going to plan and scheme to just take away Smith and Jigba. It's a problem. It is a problem what the Seattle Seahawks have. They're not a good offensive team. They won't be able to run the ball against the Steelers, and they won't be able to score against the Steelers. This is an automatic play. Steelers are at home as well. Rodgers' first home game in Pittsburgh? Come on now. Pittsburgh's not losing this game. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers at home to win against the Seattle Seahawks and cover the 2.5 points as well. Automatic for me. You will see this on the Best Bets video later in the week. One of my favorite bets I can make this week is Pittsburgh Steelers spread / money line. We'll see what we get it as on Friday and Saturday. But give me the Pittsburgh Steelers to win and dominate at home against the Seattle Seahawks. We move on now to our final game of the 10 o'clock hour. The Cleveland Browns take on the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. Yep, I'm taking the Cleveland Browns to beat to cover against the Baltimore Ravens. Got ahead of myself there. I think they could win. Guys, I'm getting vibes of Ravens-Raiders early last season where the Vegas Raiders and Gardner Minshew walked into Baltimore and won. If you remember, right, the Ravens' run didn't get going to week 3 last year where they went to Dallas and barely edged out a victory. Don't forget what happened early season in 2024 for the Baltimore Ravens. Week 1, they beat the Chiefs. Should beat the Chiefs. They lost. Isaiah Likely, his foot's out of bounds by this much. Chiefs win the game. It is what it is. But people are high on the Ravens. I was high on the Ravens. I was like, all right, they should have won that game. They let it slip through their fingers. It's okay. Refs bailed the Chiefs like they always do. Week 2, big favorites. The Raiders walk in there and win. I'm not telling you the Browns are going to walk into Baltimore and win. They will keep this game close. And 11.5 points is utterly ridiculous. Guys, it's a rivalry game. It's an AFC North game. These games are never blowouts. They aren't. And Joe Flacco played a great week 1. 2 interceptions that were neither of those were his fault. The Browns need to throw the ball 50 times. If they threw it 45 times in week number 1, they need to throw it 50 times. Take away 2 carries from Dylan Sampson and 3 carries from Jerome Ford. And add in some Judkins carries. But they need to throw the ball even more than they already are. And they're throwing the ball a lot. Their offense is not horrible if you just let Flacco go back there and sling it. And it's something that I don't think Gabriel nor Sanders is really ready for, but whatever. That's why Flacco's here. Give the ball to Judy. Give the ball to Fannin. Give the ball to Njoku, to Tillman, to Sampson out the backfield, to potentially Judkins out the backfield now, and Jerome Ford. There's a lot of good pass catchers for the Browns, and their defense looked really good against the Bengals. You're telling me they're not going to... They shut down one of the league's best offenses to 17 points. You're telling me they're not going to hold the Ravens to somewhat near that? Guys, I don't think the Ravens score more than 24 points this week. 28 points I'll give them. You tell me the Browns offense can't score 17? They should have scored 20 last week in a defensive struggle, or at least in a mistake-ridden game for the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, they're on the road. I don't care. Guys, the Ravens are not scoring more than 28 points. I think there is going to be, again, the highs of almost beating Buffalo just like last year, the highs of almost beating Kansas City. You come back home, and it's a pure trap game. You're expected to roll over the Raiders last year. You're expected to roll over the Cleveland Browns this year. But again, it's an AFC North game. They are always tight. Every game in this division is close for the most part, at least early in the season. Remember last year when the Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers? I know that game was in Cleveland. It was a Thursday night. Jameis Winston was starting. The Lord has blessed me to play in some snow today. But these games are always going to be tight. And I firmly believe that. And I think Joe Flacco, walking in, by the way, to his former stadium, his old stadium against his former team, for the first time as a starting quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. Did he play here with the Broncos? I don't think so. I know he hasn't as a Brown yet. The Colts did not go to Baltimore last year, right? I don't think they did. No. So unless he did it as a member of the Broncos, which I don't think he did because I would have remembered that, Joe Flacco has not played at Baltimore yet. I'm very sure he did not as a Jet. I just need to check one of his 8 starts with the Broncos was not in Baltimore. I don't think it was. So you're telling me Joe Flacco's revenge game's not going to go well? Yeah, he didn't with the Broncos. It's a Joe Flacco revenge game, and Unk at 40 years old is still slinging it. The first time he's ever played in Baltimore, started in Baltimore, since leaving. Since, Lamar Jackson took over the role. And since getting benched for Lamar Jackson in 2018 as well. By the way, he got benched in the year that they were going to the postseason and went to the postseason. And I know Lamar was the future, but that one wild card game against the Los Angeles Chargers, Joe Flacco wins that game for them. I know it's 2018, it's a long time ago at this point, but still, Flacco's very capable. If the offense can just hold on to the football this time, they're going to be competitive against the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm telling you, Joe Flacco's not letting his team get blown out in Baltimore. Plus 11.5 for the Cleveland Browns. Loved the Browns last week on the spread against the Bengals. Loved them again this week. Guys, you are underestimating how good the Browns are this year. Are they a playoff team? No. They are going to be one of these scrappy teams, though, that always give you problems for any good team in the league. 11.5 is too many points for the Browns. They will cover in Baltimore, and they will be in this football game. This will be a one-score game that the Browns might win. Give me Cleveland 11.5. Next up, let's go to the Peyton Manning Bowl. In Indianapolis, Indiana, we've got the Indianapolis Colts hosting the Denver Broncos. The Colts are going to win this football game. I do not trust the Broncos offense right now, okay? I don't think Bo Nix has a good game. Look how well the Colts defense plays against Tua and the Dolphins offense. I get it. Oh, the Dolphins aren't good. Tua's not good anymore. That might be the case. Got to give credit to the defense for Indianapolis. The Dolphins don't score until the fourth quarter on a 4th and 11 check down to Devon Achane that somehow got in the end zone because Achane's just that special of a talent. The Colts defense is going to be fine against the Broncos. They are going to be. Guys, Bo Nix was so disappointing in week number 1. Bo Nix somehow took a step back from his rookie year. And I guess maybe teams have now, they got tape on Bo Nix now, and they know what to expect. I don't know. Nix goes 25 for 40 passing in week number 1, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Defense looks great for Denver. Defense is always going to be great. They get pressure on Cam Ward. How many sacks they have? 6 total sacks on Cam Ward? Come on now. Pat Surtain, PS2, best cornerback in football. Not even close. Best defensive player in football. How about Talanoa Hufanga in his first game as a Denver Bronco? 10 tackles, leads the team. That is the veteran depth. Not depth, that's the veteran leadership they are going to need going forward. Again, you add an elite tackler in Hufanga. There you go. Look at the running back room. RJ Harvey, what a game. RJ Harvey on 6 carries, runs for 70 yards. That's great. The pass game, though, is what scares me. I think RJ Harvey, should be getting a lot of the run instead of J.K. Dobbins. Cortland Sutton is going to perform for them because that's the one guy Bo Nix eyes in on. I'm concerned about the Broncos going forward. I'm here to say now, I think the Broncos are still a playoff team. I believe they are behind the Los Angeles Chargers, in my opinion, now. And I'm going to make a change here in who I think is going to win the AFC South. The Indianapolis Colts are winning the AFC South for the first time in years. Yeah, they're going to win the South. How about Daniel Jones, man? Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones. What a game. Looks like an MVP. He does. Now, again, we'll see. This might be a Sam Darnold type situation. I'm serious, where Jones is going to establish himself as a starter in the league again. What a week one for Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. 22 completions on 29 passing attempts, 272 yards, a touchdown in the air, or on the air, in the air, 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground. And I told you, the offense will be so much better with Daniel Jones. Just will. He's an actual quarterback. He's an actual leader. And that's nothing against AR. I think AR is an extreme talent. I think he's a great talent. Is he a leader? Is he a guy who can take his team to the next level? No. He's a deep ball guy who cannot actively win a football game and cannot maintain a winnable pace for 4 quarters. Consistently, no. Daniel Jones can win you football games. Look how Michael Pittman disappeared in the 2 years AR played. Yeah, a first game with Daniel Jones as a quarterback, 6 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. There's a reason why Pittman played well with Phillip Rivers. There's a reason why Pittman played well with Gardner Minshew. There's a reason he played well with Carson Wentz and was a Pro Bowler with Carson Wentz. Because those guys actually get him the football and don't throw the ball deep 20 times a game like AR, and he's going to hit Alec Pierce once, and it's going to go on SportsCenter, but then the final score, you're losing by 14 points. And how about Tyler Warren? Might be one of the best tight ends in football, especially the way the Colts use him. Should have known, man. Should have known, because how much they've used Mo Alley Cox over the last 6 years. I mean, they have liked Cox. They've liked Cox quite a bit, and they have looked for Cox a lot. Tyler Warren, I think he's better than Mo Alley. Well, no, I know he's better than Mo Alley right now. I think he's going to be better for the Colts than Mo Alley, obviously, because they used a first-round pick on him. And Daniel Jones is going to utilize that tight end. Oh, by the way, the run game, Jonathan Taylor, he's going to be there too. Daniel Jones is what the Colts needed in 2025. Okay, I'm not going to pronounce them Super Bowl champions right now. They are going to be a playoff team, and they're going to win the division. Okay, we will see what happens from there. I fully expect them, though, to beat the Denver Broncos in week number 2. We get them at plus money. This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. Whether they win or lose, we love them. Come on now. Give me the Indianapolis Colts plus 2.5. Now, plus 115. You can keep your points at Lucas Oil. The Colts are beating the Broncos. Bo Nix right now is going to be the reason the Broncos do not go to the next level in 2025. Again, the jury's still out on that, but I'm taking the Colts to win week number 2 at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. Next up, let's go to Glendale, Arizona for the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. I'm not here to just stand here, and I'm not going to be here to just completely shit all over Bryce Young. That's not what I'm here to do, okay? It's not what I want to do, is go out here and tell you how bad Bryce Young is, okay? Bryce Young is a good quarterback. I hope. But my goodness, he played a bad week 1, okay? I just contradicted myself in the fullest. Holy crap, that was horrible in week number 1. I think Bryce Young, this is what I need to say. I think Bryce Young can be a very good quarterback. I just don't know if he's going to be. That's what I'll say. I don't know if he's going to be. Oh my goodness. I want to believe, but that was so bad. And not like this affected his game. The video of Bryce Young looking at the Jumbotron and looking at the, what hand is the ball in game? That's such a horrible look. It's such a horrible look. Especially when he trots back on the field and throws an interception. In no world, by the way, on 4th and goal, you should be throwing the ball at the back of the end zone. Bryce Young, 18 for 35, passing 154 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. This is why that's why he got benched last year for Andy Dalton. And Dalton, the Red Rifle, had his 3-week run where he looked like, he's back. There's a chance Dalton's going to start again this year because they didn't do anything else, and that's fine. I think Dalton can still start, honestly. Dalton's 37. I think he's more than capable, honestly. But yikes, you don't want to see that out of Bryce Young. You're going to get a chance against a not great defense in the Cardinals, but a defense that I think can hold Young. I think so. Ted McMillan's a talent, and I do believe if Andy Dalton does get to start games this season, I'm not going to call for him to start just yet. I think Young's given probably 3 weeks until if they have to go to Dalton, probably week 4 in New England if they need to. Against, by the way, a weak schedule that they play all year long. Ted McMillan's production is going to go through the roof if Dalton's the quarterback. Look at all the success Andy Dalton had with A.J. Green in Cincinnati. He loves number one receivers and big number one receivers. That's exactly what Teteroa McMillan is. Yeah, Bryce Young played a bad week 1. They couldn't run the ball. The Jaguars dominated. That's horrible. Arizona looked good against the Saints at times. Game was too close for comfort, but I thought they played a decent game. I think Kyler Murray, it's big that he remembered he has Marvin Harrison on his team. That was a big thing for last year, too. Like, Marvin Harrison, I think, did he have 1,000 yards? I think he had 900, right? We went over this last week. Did he have 1,000? He might have barely crossed 1,000, or he had 900. Sorry, he had 885. Yeah, that's a problem when the number 4 overall pick comes into a system that doesn't have a really good receiving room and has a quarterback who is supposed to be the franchise guy who kind of slings it, and he only has 885 yards through the air. Yeah, that needs to pick up. And obviously, Kyler took that to heart. Look week number 1 what the Cardinals do. Kyler Murray gets Marvin Harrison the ball 5 times with 71 yards. They need to throw the ball. He only had 6 targets, and okay, he needs to have 13 targets a game. He is what Larry Fitzgerald, he needs to be what Larry Fitzgerald was for this team for a decade. Yep. I don't think Kyler played a horrible game. I think he needs to be a little bit better in terms of just getting the ball to his best receiver. Because Marvin Harrison has the potential to be a top 10 receiver in the sport. Trey McBride is a top 5 tight end in the sport. Get those guys the ball. I don't know how I feel about James Conner still doing the thing in 2025. I think Trey Benson's going to continue to see an extended role and an advanced role with the Arizona Cardinals. And sure, they were just playing the New Orleans Saints. I think this week's going to be fairly easy for them, though. The Panthers are not a good football team. It's 6.5. I went back and forth in the spread here. I really did. I really went back and forth in the spread. I am going to go Panthers plus 6.5, though, just because of the fact that the Cardinals could not get rid of the Saints. And I do believe the Panthers are better than the Saints. I know the game is in Arizona. I think it's going to be low scoring, though. I don't know. I wouldn't bet on this game. This is one of the toughest spreads I have all week, just because Arizona wins last week by 7 on the road, but they play the worst team in football, and the Panthers look bad on the road, too, but you go from playing the Jags to the Cardinals, which is kind of just an equal playing field. I don't know. I wouldn't bet on the football game. I think the Cardinals win, and I kind of broke that game down in terms of who I think is going to win, and obviously I think it's going to be Arizona. I think Carolina can be competitive. I think if their run game gets going, I think, Chuba did not have a great week 1. And also I think, Ted McMillan needs to be more advanced in the offense too, or more involved in the offense, right? Ted McMillan only had like 30 yards going into the fourth quarter. Had a big fourth quarter, but we'll see. I think the Panthers can keep it close. I wouldn't bet on it at all. It's like the least favorite game I have all week. I guess sit back and enjoy Cardinals-Panthers. I think the Cardinals will win. They're going to go to 2-0, which is a little surprising. And we talk about how bad the 49ers schedule is this season. Look how weak the Cardinals schedule is this year, too. Just saying. Arizona, if Kyler's able to figure it out for the first time since 2021, maybe the Cardinals can be a little bit dangerous. I don't know. I'm taking Arizona, though, to win at home against the Panthers. Do not bet the spread. If I had to bet it, probably Carolina plus 6.5. There's probably like 100 things I'd rather bet on. I'd rather bet on, tennis and boxing undercards than Carolina Panthers spread this week. So don't bet it. Next up, we move on to the biggest game of the week. I mean, come on now. It is the biggest game of the week. I know the Chiefs lost in week 1. They did not look good in week 1. But this is the game of the week. At Arrowhead in Kansas City, the Super Bowl rematch. The Philadelphia Eagles go on the road to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And we are taking the Philadelphia Eagles to win. This is it for the Chiefs. This is it. Are they going to go to the playoffs season? Probably. They'll find a way. They're not winning the AFC West. That's going to the Chargers, I believe now. Justin Herbert took the throne and ripped it away from Patrick Mahomes in week number 1 in Brazil. Okay? Again, generational run. Justin Herbert's on. Okay, generational. We'll get to Justin Herbert later. Eagles, coming off of a week 1 victory against the Cowboys. Was it a little too close for comfort? Yes. All right? But I believe the Eagles have to get the ball to A.J. Brown in week number 2. They have to get the ball to Devontae Smith in week number 2. No disrespect to Jahan Dotson and Dallas Goedert. Those two guys cannot be your two leading receivers. A.J. Brown needs to have more than just one catch for 8 yards. And again, as someone who played against A.J. Brown in fantasy, loved it. It was great. And Devontae Smith, too. I played against both of them. They will get it going this week. Against the Kansas City defense last week, that got melted against Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert with a career-best game in Brazil. 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Obviously wins with the game-winning run and slide down the sidelines, too. And they let Quentin Johnston run free the entire game. And Quentin Johnston might have figured it out. I don't know. Him and CeeDee Lamb switched bodies because Quentin Johnston dominated week number 1. Ladd McConkey was dominant in week number 1 for the Los Angeles Chargers. I cannot tell you how high I am right now on Harbaugh's Los Angeles Chargers. We will get to them at the end of the video. They play in the final game of the week on Monday Night Football against the Las Vegas Raiders. Chiefs defense gets shredded. Their offense does not look great. It's not horrible. I'm not going to sound the alarms about, oh, Mahomes is horrible. I don't think they played all that well. Mahomes 250 yards. They couldn't run the ball, and they didn't really run the ball. Mahomes was their leading rusher and leading ball carrier as well, 6 carries for 57 yards. Hollywood Brown's your leading receiver, then Juju Smith-Schuster. Xavier Worthy's out now. You still have Rashee Rice on suspension for a DUI, and Kelsey's older, and I guess, again, I think Kelsey's retirement year is going to be, which likely his retirement year, I think is going to be big for him. But if you're without Xavier Worthy this week, which he is day-to-day with a dislocated shoulder, you can play on a dislocated shoulder, but one bad hit, and then, okay, now you're out 5 weeks. I don't think they're going to play Worthy this week. I expect him to probably be back in either week 3 or week 4. I don't think they're going to rush him back here. It does not make sense. I think he'll probably play next week on Sunday Night Football against the New York Football Giants. I don't think he plays here. So you're without Xavier Worthy, you're without Rashee Rice. Your best receiver is Hollywood Brown. Ooh, don't like that. I think the Eagles should also be able to run the football a lot this week. I would think. They couldn't really. Saquon got held last week. Don't get me wrong. 18 carries for 60 yards. That is a very unlike Saquon game. Obviously, Hurts does his thing with the rushing touchdowns and whatnot. Omarion Hampton didn't have a great game against the Chiefs defense last week, but the Chargers are good. I love their O-line. I think they have one of the best O-lines in football. The Eagles, though, pure run block. Tremendous. Saquon Barkley, best running back in the NFL, was voted the best player in the NFL. I think the Eagles have a lot of success in Kansas City. And I think, again, we'll see what Jalen Hurts does. Hurts goes 19 for 23 passing last week, but only 150 yards. The Cowboys took a lot away from Jalen Hurts in week number 1. I do actually think the Cowboys secondary, though, is underrated. Give Hurts another shot here in week number 2. I think he's going to be much better. I think A.J. Brown's going to be much more involved. And also, we saw this game last year. What happened? The Eagles won the Super Bowl. Different personnel, kind of. But for the most part, same team, same coaches. I get the games in Kansas City. The Chiefs aren't that much better from last year. Hell, they're worse than last year. So the Philadelphia Eagles are going to walk into Kansas City, and they will make this game look easy. Philadelphia moneyline minus 110, okay? They are better than the Chiefs, and the Chiefs' run over dominance of both the AFC West and just the AFC in general is over. This is no Brady dynasty, okay? Notice I just said Brady because Belichick or whatever. This is no Brady dynasty. The Chiefs, I think, are done. Give the Philadelphia Eagles to win. Are the Chiefs going to the playoffs? Yes. Again, I'm just saying their dominance is over. They're just another team now. It's going to always be a playoff squad. They're the new, Steelers. They'll be in every single year, but they, once in a blue moon, they're going to make their run. Not every single year anymore. Eagles win the game minus 110. They will beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Thankfully, though, for the Chiefs, they'll get to walk into East Rutherford next week against an 0-2 Giants team. 0-2 versus 0-2 on Sunday night. Can we flex that game out already? I don't want to hear Chris Collinsworth, glaze Mahomes for the entire game. Patrick Mahomes, ain't he awesome? Next, Sunday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings versus the Atlanta Falcons. Give me the Vikings. So I already raved about J.J. McCarthy earlier on in the video to the point where I forgot I was supposed to be talking about the Chicago Bears because I didn't want to talk about the Chicago Bears. I want to talk about how great J.J. McCarthy is, okay? And how much of a talent J.J. McCarthy is. They will beat the Atlanta Falcons at home. Yes, they will. Okay? J.J. McCarthy's first game at home. He deals with adversity on the road, and they still beat the Chicago Bears. Guy throws a pick 6 to put his team down 11 points in his first ever game in a hostile environment in a divisional game. And what does he do? He bears down and wins the football game for them. 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to win it. That's an elite talent at quarterback. That's a guy who's a franchise guy who will be the quarterback that will lead Minnesota to their first ever Lombardi trophy. Not this year, not next year. Within the next decade, yes, they are winning a Super Bowl with J.J. McCarthy. Honestly, their window's kind of now, but we'll see. Okay, Jefferson's still, 26? Yeah. They could win in 3 years with a 29-year-old Justin Jefferson. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, J.J. McCarthy is that guy. Okay? I know, he only threw for 140 yards. The impact he makes in that game is crucial. And yeah, the defense came up with a lot of huge stops in the second half. I got to give them so much credit for stopping Chicago. Guys, the Bears are up 11 points on the Vikings' 25-yard line. Halfway to go in the third quarter. I think early in the fourth quarter. Late third quarter. Vikings, there's a penalty involved, and the Bears could not help themselves with penalties in week number 1. They get backed up. They miss a 50-yard field goal, and here come the Vikings. The Atlanta Falcons, did you fall for it again? Did you fall for, oh, this is Atlanta's year. Oh, they're winning the NFC South. No. Every single year with this team, Atlanta and Chicago, I can't stand it. This is the Falcons' year. They're great. No. Not sold. Not sold at all with this squad. Okay? I mean, sure, if Younghoe Koo makes a 40-yard field goal, do they win? Maybe. I think the Bucks, if they can just, I think the Bucks probably win in overtime. I think they probably get a stop. Apparently, Younghoe Koo might lose his job. They brought in Parker Romo to their practice squad. I don't think this means Koo's not going to be the kicker. I think they're going to stick with Koo if Koo's now on a very short leash. They will probably bring Romo in to compete, and I don't think they're going to sign him to the active roster this week because, by the way, they owe Koo a lot of guaranteed money. Younghoe Koo's got. Let me just check. I think he's still got 2 more years, I believe. They gave him a pretty big deal. Yeah, so he's got guaranteed money. He's been their kicker since 2019. I don't know. He's only 31. I don't know what happened to Younghoe Koo. We'll see. He's going to be on a short leash this week. I'll just say that. But did you fall for it again with the Atlanta Falcons? Like, did you? Did you fall for this again? Michael Penix is good. Yeah. Oh, Kyle Pitts actually got a really good route on the Michael Penix, dive for a touchdown. Bijan, though, could not run the ball. Tyler Algier, they both had 24 yards. Algier, 10 carries, 24 yards. Bijan Robinson, 12 carries, 24 yards. And sure, that's because just of how good the Buccaneers' run D is. We say it all the time. Like, that run D is the best in football. If Todd Bowles can do anything right defensively, it's stop the run. I think he's a horrible head coach. But defensively, he's got a scheme that can stop teams from running the football. It's been like that since the Bruce Arians days where Bowles was his D coordinator, right? That's just what Todd Bowles does. But I'm not going to fall for this Falcons thing again. I'm not going to fall for it, okay? I think they might be able to run the ball on the Vikings, maybe. But I don't know. The Vikings run D looked really good last game. And sure, you're going up against, DeAndre Swift. But DeAndre Swift ran the ball 17 times for 53 yards. I get it. Bijan's a better talent, but don't love that, I'm going with the Vikings here. I think the Vikings, I don't know if they blow them out. I think the Vikings win by a touchdown, though. J.J. McCarthy at home is going to be even better. It was a learning experience in week number 1. If they had lost that game, I would have said, okay, it's his first game. First game on the road, Monday Night Football. That's brutal. Oh, he found a way to win that game. Yeah, now he's got all the confidence in the world. Again, the guy doesn't lose. He's 19-0 since losing, or he's 18-0 since losing the Fiesta Bowl to TCU. The guy does nothing but win. He's like, what is the stat? He's like 50-something and 3 since playing high school football, or including high school football. He doesn't lose football games. J.J. McCarthy wins at home, and sure, will this run eventually end? Yes, we heard the same thing about Trevor Lawrence, obviously. But J.J. McCarthy is in a much better position in Minnesota than Trevor Lawrence ever has been in Jacksonville. I always knew he was probably going to make it work, and sitting a year made a lot of sense. Obviously, the plan was J.J. McCarthy's the truth, okay? Vikings win, and they cover the 4.5 points at home on Sunday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons. Next up, we go to the 2 Monday night games this week, the first of which being in Houston, Texas, between the Houston Texans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When will we learn about the Buccaneers on the money line? I don't know. Guys, I don't know. Does Vegas not recognize? Do the people not recognize how good the Bucs are? Plus 130? Are we serious? Guys, they couldn't throw the ball for crap in the first half. Second half, they come through. Baker Mayfield leads them down a couple big scoring drives. Bucs win the game 23-20. Shout out to Emeka Ibuka, who's the truth. When Chris Godwin comes back, oh my goodness. The Bucs are Super Bowl contenders. Oh, they are. They are definitely Super Bowl contenders in 2025. Unleash Baker Mayfield. Guys, I don't think it needs to be stated. It needs to be stated more. The damage Baker Mayfield does with his legs in week number 1 against the Falcons is insane. So many 3rd and long spots where Mayfield just says, all right, I'm going to have to do it myself. Runs for 11 yards. 5 carries, 40 yards for Baker Mayfield. He had a 20-yard run in there as well. My goodness. If you just unleash Baker a little bit more at the pass game, oh yeah, they're going to be fine. Bucky had a bad game on the ground. That's not going to continue to happen. All right, Bucky will get going on the ground, especially against the Texans, I do believe. Bucky is a really good running back in football. He'll be fine, okay? And just the threat of Bucky Irving running the ball only opens it up more for the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. Why are the Texans favorite? It's a primetime game, sure. They're at home, yeah. Why? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get why they're favored to win this football game. You scored 9 points against the Rams. Yeah, the Rams, okay. Good team. Really good team. I like the Rams a lot this season. You scored 9 points in that game. Your offense is still ass. You know? You're getting Nico Collins back, obviously, off an injury. Still don't know. Again, he had 3 catches for 25 yards in week number 1. We mentioned this a lot last season. And, you know, I said at the beginning of the year, so I got clowned a little bit saying this at the beginning of the year last year. So CJ Stroud was going to fall off a cliff. Not that harsh. I said there was going to be a drop-off in play for CJ Stroud in 2025 or 2024. Oh, and there was. There was a drop-off in play for CJ Stroud in 2024. I don't think he's going to continue to fall off, but I just don't think CJ Stroud is as good as people thought he was going to be after his rookie year. I think he's a good quarterback. Is he elite? No. He's a franchise guy, sure. He's just not a guy that takes Houston over the top. Week 1, 188 yards and an interception. Sure, you don't have your starting running back in Joe Mixon, so you got to go to Nick Chubb. Chubb had 13 carries for 60 yards. I know damn well he's not going to be able to run the ball this week against the Bucs. But that receiving core is just like, I don't know, Jaden Higgins, Xavier Hutchinson, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, Justin Watson. I'm not sold on the Houston offense. And I do believe, I know the Rams only scored 14 points. Guys, the Bucs have a better offense than the Rams. Baker's better than Matthew Stafford. You know, do the Bucs have a guy like Puka Nacua? No. But they have both Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka. Yeah, they're fine. They're going to walk into Houston, and they're going to score almost every single time they touch the football. Trust me. Guys, you remember last year when Tampa went to Los Angeles to beat the Chargers? It's going to look like that. They're going to put a beating on the Houston Texans. This defense is much better than anybody gives them credit for, okay? And sure, that is Todd Bowles. I hate Todd Bowles' secondaries, but here's the thing, too. The name of the game with the Buccaneers is, we are going to force your quarterback to beat us in the air, so make it happen. That ain't happening. CJ Stroud is not going out here and beating up on the Buccaneers secondary. Because, guys, if you're trusting CJ Stroud to win you a football game, it's not 2023 anymore. Is he a talent? Sure. I don't think he's that great, though. He's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. Okay? I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win. Okay? I'm taking the Bucs to go on the road, beat the Texans, and I absolutely love the play. We get the Bucs at plus money. Guys, the Bucs should almost never be at plus money because of Baker Mayfield, because of now Emeka Egbuka, who was the best pick in the draft. Guys, that's why you go best pure talent available in any situation. You take the best player on the board. That's what the Bucs did, and just wait till Chris Godwin returns as well. The Bucs are an absolute monster in 2025. Tampa walks into Houston and beats up on the Houston Texans. Next up, our final game of the week. Let's go to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, as the Los Angeles Chargers go on the road to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. 3-point favorites are the Chargers. They will cover. They will go on the road and cover the Vegas Raiders. I was so impressed by how Geno Smith played in week number 1. I had questioned what Geno was going to be in Las Vegas, especially only getting older. But obviously with a, I don't want to say a loaded receiving room, but Jacoby Myers, obviously, the contract dispute and whatnot, the wanting a trade, he's still there. Brock Bowers, obviously, best tight end in football, potentially, who is injured now, which is brutal. But you've got guys, obviously, in Vegas. And Ashton Genty, who did not have a good week 1, 19 carries, 38 yards, was it something like that? It was something, I think it was 19 for 38, right? Average, oh my goodness. 19 carries, 38 yards. I do put a lot of that on the run D, though. On the run blocking of Vegas. They could not get Genty any room. And the Patriots, they were crashing run all the time. They were loading the box, and they just made it really difficult for Vegas to run that entire football game. Geno Smith plays well. 362 yards, 24 of 34 passing with the touchdown and a pick. I think it's going to work. I think Geno in Vegas is going to work. I'll eat my words a little bit. I just didn't think, well, here's the thing. I never thought Geno was a bad quarterback. I just thought Geno walking into Vegas, and it doesn't really fit their timeline. But, hey, Pete Carroll got his guy, and I'll give him credit there. They're not winning in week 1 against the Chargers, who may be the second best team in football right now. Second best team in the AFC for sure. Because it's Buffalo Bills, and then it's Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are legit. They 100% are. Look at that week number 1. Justin Herbert is on a generational run, okay? Bro's bringing Joe Alt to dates as well. I mean, Buddy's always packed with protection, okay? Justin Herbert right now is playing elite football. Carves up the Kansas City Chiefs defense. You don't think he's going to do the same against the Vegas Raiders? You have him playing Drake May to Justin Herbert. Guys, Justin Herbert, he's always been if man, if this goes his way, if he had receivers, if he had a coach, if. The if is finally happening because he has all of that now, all the receiving core. But he is fully playing into what his potential has been. He's only 27. 318 yards, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, and obviously that big rushing first down to end the football game and ice the Kansas City Chiefs. What are the Raiders going to be without Brock Bowers this week, too? I don't think Bowers is playing. Last week, 5 catches, 103 yards. Yeah, can Michael Mayer get things done? Sure, 100%. There's a reason they picked him in the second round a couple years ago. It's just you take away Brock Bowers, and now your receiving room goes from Bowers, Myers, Trey Tucker and whatnot, to just Myers and Trey Tucker and Dante Thornton. It's not the same. Chargers defense is pretty solid. Look how they stuffed the Chiefs and stopped the Chiefs last week. And you get a guy on the other side of the football in Justin Herbert, who right now, again, generational run on a elite run, maybe the best run a quarterback has ever been on, other than maybe like a Brady run, It's insane. It's crazy. This guy's not walking into Vegas and losing. But bro's got a whole new confidence about him. He's walking into Vegas and beating the Raiders. After all that discussion about, Herbert, he's if man. Yeah, he's officially coming. He's officially that guy now with the Chargers. The Chargers are winning the AFC West. Harbaugh system, they're going to do it. And Omarion Hampton did not have a good week number 1. Chiefs stuffed him. Wait for them to unleash him against the Raiders this week in Vegas. Monday Night Football, prime time. Chargers are getting it done. Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers are winning, and they're easily covering 3 points as well. Give me the Chargers to win on the road. Folks, thank you all for watching our entire week number 2 predictions here for the NFL season. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did this good thing in the picks. We'll be back next week for more NFL predictions. Thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.